Hello and welcome to my review of issue 38 of the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine. This is a weekly magazine, but they send you all of the 4 weeks worth of magazines in one bundle every month, and they cost you £7.99, so they charge you £32 every month. Sometimes they charge you extra if they include a binder or, I say, a codex, more of like a supplement or anything else. But normally they are £7.99 each. This particular issue comes with a plague surgeon, which would normally cost you £17.50. So you're saving a whopping £9.50 from getting this model separately. Now, of course, if you've already got this model, there's no point getting the magazine, of course, because it's exactly the same model. There's no extra parts or other options. He's going to look exact, and you can't move the head either. You can move the right arm a little bit, but that's kind of it. And for some reason my sword is a bit bent on there. Maybe it's just the lighting. Yeah, it looks like it's a sword. Oh dear. Probably like heat gun that back into place. Yeah, that is completely on the wonk, isn't it? Anyway, maybe that just adds to the Death Guard Nurgle effect. So yeah, you're saving almost a tenner from getting this model separately. So if you haven't got the model and you've got a Death Guard army and you want the model, get it this way, because it saves you money. You know, that's even cheaper than from like a third-party seller, which I typically promote getting all your miniatures from. There's no point paying an extra 20-25% and giving Games Workshop your money directly. Of course, they'll get it the roundabout way, but why pay more than you have to? Okay, we'll have a look at the model in a moment and do some size comparisons, and I will go through all of his rules from the 8th edition Codex, which came out a couple of years ago. Firstly, let's have a look at the magazine as always. So this is a little section about Death Guard Plague Surgeons, Gene Seed Thieves, Plague Surgeon himself, looks at the demonic armour, Tainted Narthessium, backpack, foul syringes and a bale sword. You've got the Narthessium and Reductor, the backpack or power plant, the demonic armour, the bale sword and the foul syringes there. So he is a kind of corrupted Nurgle Death Guard apothecary. Most likely he used to be an apothecary, but now he loves going around stealing him some of that gene seed. A little bit about the Emperor, Sons of the Emperor, and then the Emperor himself. Psychic Warrior, Leader of Men and Primarchs, and then how to build a Plague Surgeon. Very, very easy to build, I want to say. Only comes in, what, 9 parts. You know, half his body and his head is attached though. Oh, you should be able to move the arm, the sword arm, apologies. How to paint the Plague Surgeon. Shading him as well, and that's the result that you'll get. You've got Rules Mission 22, Barachias or Barachias, Aquila down, so a little bit of a mission there, and then the Plague Surgeon data sheet as well. That's clearly part of your terrain. And then a look at the next 2 issues, issue 39 and issue 40. We are halfway there, and they celebrate by being halfway there by giving you a Primaris execution note, by giving you 3 paints. Okay, so issue 39 is a good one because that has the Primaris captain, and I've actually just been doing a review. He's right here. Pretty awesome mini, and very good rules wise too. So let's have a look at the model himself. Please do ignore that bent bale sword there. You might be able, yeah, you can pick it up on the camera, look. I'm going to have to do something about that. Maybe the hairdryer will work, but you've got to get this plastic really, really hot to manipulate it, not like the resin, which is easier to work with in my opinion. So you've got these syringes and this Narthessium, I think it is. And then you've got the power plant with a head, just in case, you never know. You've got some Nurgle symbols, some incense ball things. You've got his head with some maggots coming out, more syringes, some kind of speaker system thing going on. Yeah, the demonic armour looks fantastic. Love this horn sprouting up from this mouth with a tongue. You've actually got a little tongue there. Love the cloaks. I do feel this model is a little bit taller than he needs to be. However, if you compare him to like the Primaris Apothecary, and the Apothecary towers over him, I wouldn't like to say that he was a Primaris Apothecary before, because it's relatively new Primaris stuff, and he is wearing this Mark III iron armour. He's just very tall for a Space Marine, even a corrupted one. I guess maybe his augmentations and his thieving of the gene seed has, you know, accelerated his height a little bit more. But you know, insert your explanation here is what I'm going to say. Let's do some size comparisons. Firstly, with some Death Guard models. So here's a normal Plague Marine, and you can see he is a fair bit taller than normal. See what I'm talking about there? Not just the larger base, but the height more than anything is almost like a head taller, and where his shoulder pauldrons are, compared to like a human-sized enemy. So here's just like a little cultist. The cultist doesn't even come up to his chest plate really. Blight Lord Terminator even. Gives the Blight Lord Terminator run for his money. I think he's even a little bit taller than Blight Lord Terminator, and overall the model is, especially with his power plant too. So yeah, wouldn't look out of place in amongst some of those. And then some Imperial models. So we've got a standard Space Marine there. Absolutely dwarfs him. It's not even funny. They almost look like they're from a different gaming system now. And then an Intercessor. Even the Intercessor struggles a bit with the height of this Plague Surgeon. The Plague Surgeon really is a dominating, tall, foreboding miniature in your army. So I hope all those size comparisons have helped. And this is my part of the review where I will go through all of his rules. It's one of my favourite parts of the review. You'll find them in your 8th edition Death Guard Codex. It's one of my favourite codexes too. Nestled away like a spot you can't quite get at. You can squeeze him out of the elite section. He's a power points cost of a 4, pretty much like most of the elite choices. You know, the single counter characters in the elite section, and a points cost of 59. Quite cheap in my opinion. His stat line is the same as all the other characters in the elite section too, such as the Biologist Putrefier and the Foul Blightspawn and the Noxious Blightbringer. His movement is 5 inches. Weapon skill and ballistic skill both 3+. Strength is 4, toughness 5, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. This is great because although he's slow, he does have that toughness of 5, and he does have 4 attacks, which makes him a bit more survivable. And remember, he has Death to the False Emperor and Disgustingly Resilient, so he can shrug off some of the wounds that he takes. Plague Surgeon is a single model armed with a bolt pistol, bale sword, blight grenades, and crack grenades. Now, bolt pistol works as normal, but the bale sword is the newer kind of thing in this. It's a bit like a power sword, basically. It's a strength of the user, which would be 4, AP -3, and a damage of 1, but it is also a plague weapon. And all that means is that, as well as it being a power sword, you can just re-roll wound rolls of a 1 for this weapon. The blight grenades is something you might not have heard of recently, but they're a ranged 6-inch grenade D6, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1, but again, they're plague weapons too. So you've got a chance there of getting multiple damage 1 hits, and with a chance to re-roll the wound rolls. Crack grenades work as usual. Abilities, I've already briefly mentioned Death to the False Emperor and Disgustingly Resilient. He's also got the Tainted Narthessium, where you may re-roll any Disgustingly Resilient rolls of 1 made for friendly Death Guard infantry units within 3 inches of this model. It does suck that it's only 3 inches. I would have much rather him to have a 6-inch bubble. That would have been brilliant. 3 inches, he's going to have to be very, very close, and that's not always easy when your movement speed is only 5 inches. But to re-roll them is great. It would have been good if you could just re-roll them, but you can only re-roll them of 1, so that does... Yeah, in a way, it does give you a 4+, putting it that way. Gene Seed Thief. Add 1 to all hit and wound rolls made for this model in the fight phase when targeting an Adeptus Astartes infantry or Adeptus Astartes bike unit. Now that's good, but that's only for him. It's nice that you can reroll hit rolls because obviously with the weapon skill 3+, it's gonna help him. Essentially, he's going to be hitting on a 2+, and wounding he may need that too with a strength 4. So not only can you add 1 with the Bale Sword, remember you can re-roll the 1s, but technically that negates it, because if it's a 1, it's going to be a 2. Yeah, it being a plague weapon doesn't really affect it, I think, if you look at it that way. Anyway, the keywords: Chaos, Nurgle, Heretic Astartes, Death Guard, Character, Infantry and Plague Surgeon. So there you go, that is my review of the Plague Surgeon. I think he's a very decent looking model. He's quite tall and foreboding. I think his Bale Sword is alright, but he does only have 3 attacks. He doesn't have an invulnerable save, but he does have a nice high toughness. And his Blight Grenades, again, can do some damage, but like all of the elites, they all have the Blight Grenades. I think his Narthessium should have been 6 inches. It's nice that you can reroll Disgusting Resilient rolls, but it's only a 1. I wouldn't take him just for that. The other elite choices, such as the Blightspawn and the Putrefier, are better, more specific in my opinion. Let me know what your take on the rules for him is in the Codex and how you'd best use him. What do you guys think of the model and the rules? Please put all of your comments and thoughts down below as always. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Papa bless.